Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm not there. As most of you guys know, my spouse was having surgery over spring break, and there have been a few complications and a lot of healing that needs to take place. So I'm not going to be there for a couple of days. Doesn't mean we can't start our next unit, which is plants. You guys will be having an open note quiz over this stuff on Wednesday. So make sure you get these down in your journal. The title of your page should be plants. Okay? Couple of key characteristics here, and pause this video whenever you need to. Plants are eukaryotic. Remember, they have a nucleus. So I would write that down. Eukaryotic means have a nucleus. The second characteristic of plants is that they're autotrophs. Autotroph. Remember, they make their own food. So make sure you write that down. Make their own food. Third characteristic of plants, they're multicellular, which means they're made of many cells. Many cells. Fourth important thing, that they have cell walls, and those are made of cellulose. Okay, that's how we distinguish it from like fungi or from bacteria, that their cell walls are made of cellulose. Okay, the last and probably one of the most important things, plants are very highly adapted and very highly evolved. Okay, we'll talk about some of the things that helped them and made them evolve here in just a few minutes, so make sure you're hanging tight. But make sure you have that last bullet point. They are very highly evolved and adapted. Alright, the first thing that we're going to do is figure out how to classify a plant. So I want you guys to make a flow chart for me. Okay, the very first thing in the middle of a page should say plant. Okay, plant. Now I want you to draw two arrows coming off of the word plant, one down to the left and one down to the right, just like here on this PowerPoint. Down to the left, the first way that we can classify a plant is being non-vascular, right? So non means not, all right? So a plant that's non-vascular has no vascular tissue. So in humans, our vascular tissues are veins and arteries, okay? Plants have this vascular system, and I'll tell you the parts of it here in just a second, okay? But if a plant doesn't have that system, it's called non-vascular. So it has no tissues to help move anything like water or nutrients. So it's going to have to live really close to wherever it's getting its water or its nutrients from. Okay, so non-vascular plants, no vascular tissue to move water or nutrients, and it must live close to water. All right. Then our second way to classify plants is, obviously, if it has a vascular system. So you either have one or you don't. Okay, if you do, you're going to have this tissue called xylem and phloem. Okay, xylem and phloem. Xylem goes up the plant and moves water up the plant from the roots. Phloem moves nutrients down the plant, so every cell has nutrients. Okay, so xylem, water up, phloem, nutrients down. Okay, so it's the first most broad classification there, classifying a plant either non-vascular or vascular. Okay, so from there, we're going to talk about vascular plants only. Okay, so a vascular plant is either going to have seeds or no seeds. Okay, seeds or no seeds. Going off of the seed column, if you have seeds, you either have flowers or no flowers. Okay, so plants with seeds that have flowers are called angiosperms. Angiosperms. Easy way that I remember that, Angie is a girl's name, and girls like flowers. Okay? Now again, if you do not make flowers, okay, you're going to be called a gymnosperm. And the way that I remember that, okay, Jim is a guy's name, Jim is a guy, and guys don't like flowers, so Jim likes no flowers. So gymnosperm. Okay? So from there, Angie, who does like flowers, is going to like her flowers in ones, monocots, or in twos, dicots. Okay, very, very simple flow chart. Definitely will be asked on the quiz. Make sure you get that taken down, plus the handy little notes that I said as I went. All right. So remember how we talked about adaptations on that very first slide? I want you to make a section of your notes called adaptations, and I'm going to tell you all about every adaptation that a plant has. Okay? So adaptation number 1 is a vascular system. Remember, vascular systems are for transport. You don't even have to write that whole thing down. Okay, vascular systems are for transport. Remember, xylem transports water, phloem transports sugar. End of story, very easy peasy. Okay, adaptation number 2 is seeds. Okay, now seeds are going to do a couple of different things. The first thing that seeds are going to do are protect plant embryos. Remember, an embryo is a baby. So a seed is going to protect that baby plant. It's going to store food for that baby plant. And a seed is going to help in reproduction. So 3 things: protect a baby plant, store food for the baby plant, and used in reproduction. Don't even read this. Adaptation number 3 are flowers. Okay, now flowers are used for reproduction in angiosperms only. Okay, flowers are for reproduction in angiosperms only. Adaptation number 4 is fruit. Now, a fruit is the ovary of an angiosperm, and a fruit protects seeds. Okay, so fruits are very, very important, and yes, whenever you eat any ripened fruit, you are eating the mature ovary of any kind of flowering plant. You're welcome. All right, so for those of you who still continue to question me that plants reproduce sexually, here you go. This is an angiosperm. It's a plant with a flower. Okay, now this plant has both male and female parts to it. Now, you need to draw this picture. You need to label it. You need to label the male parts and the female parts. Pause the video, get it done, and don't complain. You don't have to be an artist. Sketch it. It's not a huge deal, but get it done. Now, it's also important to note when you write this down. Okay, adaptation number 5 is pollen. Okay, now pollen is where the sperm is. Okay, so pollen holds sperm. Pollen is made in an anther. Those things are important. So adaptation number 5 is pollen. It contains the sperm, and it's produced in the anther. Type this video into YouTube. You need to summarize it. This is how plant sexual reproduction happens. For those of you who aren't sure, capital Y, lowercase q, uppercase M, 6, lowercase r, lowercase g, uppercase b, underscore, lowercase l, underscore, lowercase o. Get it done. Yes, it will be on the quiz. Make sure you watch it. Adaptation number 6, roots. Roots are to help a plant absorb water and nutrients. Okay, water and nutrients. It absorbs nutrients like nitrogen, hint, hint, with the help of bacteria, hint, hint. Adaptation number 7, leaves. Okay, photosynthesis happens in the leaves. If plants didn't have leaves, they would not be able to live on land. Okay, leaves help store water in the cuticle. These are big hints, and I'm just giving you the simple words. Adaptation number 8, stomata. Those are in the leaves, and they help regulate water absorption and water loss. Water absorption and water loss. That's called transpiration. We'll spend an entire day talking about stomata. Adaptation number 9, stems. Stems are for support and transport. They also contain the xylem and the phloem. Okay, plants do really weird things called tropisms. Okay? Now, a tropism is a plant response to a stimulus. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Plant response to a stimulus. Can't spell. Okay, plant response to a stimulus. Now, those things can be positive or negative. There's 3 that we're going to talk about. Now, really, plants do this because of, and you don't even need to know these words, plants do this because of hormones. Okay? So it's a plant response to a stimulus. It's positive or negative, and it's because of hormones. You're teenagers. You should know all about them. Okay? So we're going to talk about 3. Phototropism. Phototropism is a plant's response to light. So positive phototropism would be toward light. Negative phototropism would be away from light. Okay. Next is thigmotropism, and that's thigmo means touch. So this is a response to touch. So positive thigmotropism would be toward a stimulus. So that would be toward something it was touching. So think about like ivy, okay? How ivy grows up, right? The side of a house or the side of a fence, okay? Negative thigmotropism would be away from a response. So if you've ever seen a plant that you touch and it kind of recoils, like it moves back from you, that it would be a negative thigmotropism. Okay, the last one is gravitropism. That's a response to gravity. Now, every plant that you've probably ever seen has a negative gravitropism, right? Because plants grow up. Gravity pushes down. Okay? So that's one that students typically have a hard time with. But gravity pushes down on a plant, so it's got a negative stimulus because it's growing upward. Okay? Now, I'm going to come back and talk about photosynthesis and respiration, hopefully in class, because they're a little more confusing. But here's the things I need you to remember. A, don't be a jerk to a sub. B, we're going to be doing a plant dissection. It's a lot more fun than it sounds. Okay, we'll be doing a plant dissection this week, so if you're being a jerk to a sub, you're not going to get to have fun and dissect plants with me. Okay, you will have an open note quiz over these. Miss Weather is not going to have copies. So get the notes down, watch this video as many times as you need to, pause it as many times as you need to. Also, you need to do a pre-lab. Okay, if you don't do the pre-lab, you can't do the dissection. End of story. So, I'll be back when I can. Again, I didn't get to make this decision and I'm not doing anything fun. Taking care of someone who's very sick. So keep that in mind. And on that note, this is what I did over my spring break. So, here you go. Here's me cutting off the bandage. There goes the bandage. Okay, so I'm going to take this red thing out. It's called a drain. Yes, that was blood. Okay, so just to clarify, please be good for the sub. Please don't let me come back to bad sub notes. Also, on a happier note, we did also welcome this little dude into the family. His name's Miller. Say hi, buddy. Hi. So this was kind of a get well soon present. Because I'm wife of the year. Anyway, again, you guys please be good. Please, please, please. And I'll see you back as soon as I can. Bye.